Hello, everyone. On the 15th of December, we are going to have a full moon, a Gemini full moon, which is about chaos or deliverance, or probably both. If you look around, I'm recording this a couple of days earlier, but already we have a number of chaotic things happening in the world. For instance, Assad was ousted. The Syrians are very, very happy about this. And you can see that there are many points in the world where this programmed chaos that the elites are trying to present us with is really turbulently escalating. And the full moon is a perfect testimony of what's happening in the outside world. Here's the London chart. It will be exact on December 15th at 9:01 London time. And the main aspect of this particular full moon is the Sun-Uranus bi-directional quincunx. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, and the Sun makes an exact quincunx with it. And as you can see, the Lilith Pallas Athena conjunction is rising with the ascendant in Taurus. And Lilith, of course, is the revolt against injustice, and Pallas Athena is the wise girl. So that is on the ascendant. The Pluto-Ceres conjunction is now separating. We had a Venus-Pluto conjunction a couple of days ago, around the 10th, which I was not able to do. I did the video in Hungarian. I didn't have the time to do it in English. I didn't have the time to make the drawings, the charts. On the midheaven, you have the Juno-Astrea conjunction, and the Juno-Astrea is about how you change or break old embedded karma or renew something. And Juno, of course, is the official wife or husband, the official spouse, but also alliances. And future alliances are going to be rescheduled, redone. It's going to be interesting to see. I am doing this video 2 days after Notre Dame was again reopened, and there was a huge, beautiful opening ceremony where all the notabilities of the world were there. Everyone was there, really. Your very own Prince William and Trump, and of course Macron was the host. And you could see how a lot of people were arriving, and then and you know, when this building was destroyed by the fire 5 years ago, to me that was a turning point. To me, that symbolized a moment when the so-called European culture is actually doomed. And the fact that they rebuilt it in the same fashion, because they first they spoke about, okay, let's do something else. Let's redo it in a modern fashion. Let's make it out of glass. Let it be a multi faith prayer place. And bullshit, excuse me. I mean, this is a Catholic church. Okay, let it stay a Catholic church. And to me, that was very, very important. So actually, by restoring it in its original beauty, to me, this gives hope that amid this horrible chaos that we can see and this escalating chaos, there will be some sort of deliverance. Because actually, Uranus is not just the planet of chaos and anarchy, but also rapid fundamental changes and flushes of inspiration. So actually, this bi-directional quincunx is one of the so-called success aspects in modern business astrology. And it usually describes charisma, or someone who becomes famous, or to become successful in nowadays modern businesses like AT or computer businesses or inventions. So that's this full moon about. That is what it is about. So let's see the main configuration, which is a mystic rectangle combined with a finger of fate. And the mystic rectangle is done by the opposition of the full moon itself and the Vesta Aries opposition. Aries denotes drastically altered outward circumstances, and Vesta is the focusing principle. So actually, mystic rectangles are funny because they have two oppositions as their inner energy. So there's this huge tension inside. But the outer aspects, two trines and two sextiles, provide harmony and chances to work together. And the Vesta Sun sextile means that you can actually focus on your own development. The Vesta Moon trine suggests that you can also focus on either your people or your own soul. If you look at it in a mundane figure, mundane as a mundane chart, this kind of tells you that at the moment the elite or the leaders are very much opposed to what the people want. It's amazing how, when you look at recent elections in throughout Europe, it's never the person or the party that that gets the majority of the votes who will actually get into power. Look around; the elites are kind of always stopping it to happen. So it's really ridiculous. Look at what happened in Romania, for instance. A TikToker won the presidential election, and the high court simply dismissed it, and now they will have a new election in 3 months. It's ridiculous. It's like something out of a banana republic. But of course, this is what the elites want. So the high court simply allows it to happen. So that's what you can see in this particular mystic rectangle. There's this huge tension inside between the elites and what's happening, but at the same time, you need to focus on the changes in order to come out of this chaos. So the true deliverance will come through chaos. At least this is what this whole thing suggests. And amid this configuration, there's this finger of fate at the apex of which is Uranus, chaos and change. And this particular configuration can be turned into a so-called crib if there is an opposition point to this particular point. And actually, so you can also look at it two ways, that this is a finger of fate, but also that this is a little tiny angel wing. And both apexes are Uranus, which is change, chaos, and anarchy, and also deliverance. So here, this is what I usually do. Whenever I see something so profound, I try to find something on the opposition point. And sure enough, okay, the reason why I put an asterisk here is because these two things are only, sorry about that, are only an asteroid. So it's not a proper planet, just an asteroid and a fixed star. There's no proper planet opposite Uranus at the moment, but Imhotep, which is the polymath of Egyptian history, and Algina, which is beta Centaur, which is actually the whole constellation Centaur, which is on the southern hemisphere, so we won't be able to see it either from London or from London or from Budapest. Any of these places are unable to see it. We need to go to New Zealand or to South Africa to be able to actually observe it. But at the same time, the whole constellation is about healing chiron wounds, healing karmic wounds. And Agena, which is the beta star, the beta stars always give you the shadow energy of the main meaning of a constellation. And the alpha star Toliman is what really gives us deliverance from karmic wounds. And Agena usually allows us to revisit these wounds and do something about them before actually letting them go, maybe turning them into gold. So that's the apex of the crib, and that's how the crib is formed. The crib is simply a mystic rectangle with two angel winds, or actually two boomerangs within the mystic rectangle. So here are the other transcendental celestial objects. On the sun, we have Clio, the muse of history, learn from history. Eros, physical desire. Alma, the soul. Medea, who is a poisoner, he's a terrible sorceress and poisoner. She poisons her own daughters, children, just to punish her unfaithful husband. And Huya, which is a Venezuelan rain god, and the TNO Huya is linked to magic and also black magic. On the moon, you have two fixed stars, Al-Nila, which is one of the belt stars of Orion, which is on the celestial equator, and El-Nat, another beta star, beta Taurus. The whole constellation of Taurus is about how we can create harmony and peace and well-being on Earth. And the Alpha star, which is also one of the royal stars of Persia, Aldebaran, describes the whole process by keeping your integrity. And El-Nat describes something like, okay, how can I achieve this? What do I need to accept for my equilibrium, for my peace? On Uranus, you have Hephaestus, the lame blacksmith of the gods, who is lame and handicapped, but the things that he creates are beautiful and perfect. Lempo, the Finnish creator god, who later on in Christian times becomes a demon, and Capulus, which is the sword of Perseus, Nebula, and it is one of the masculine healing words for masculinity and masculine wounds. Aries has Hygeia. Actually, Hygeia and Aries are now traveling together, and they are opposite energies, because Aries means drastically altered outward circumstances, while Hygeia is the sacred space, the healing energy. So how can we heal the chaos that is around us? On Vesta, we have Atlantis, and this reminds us to pay attention to the chaos, because we might suffer another cosmic cataclysm, just like what happened in Atlantis. So those are the accompanying transcendental celestial things. And we also have a very complex planetary picture around 3 to 4 to 5 degrees of the signs. I did leave Pluto here just for you to see, but actually the main configuration is the T-square, the so-called karmic cage between the nodal axis and Lilith. And Pallas Athena is a little bit wide to my taste, because I only accept 2 degrees for configurations, and whenever there are non-radiating points like the angles or the nodes, I only allow 1.5 degrees. So it's Lilith that closes this energy. Whenever you have a karmic cage, it is really important in karmic astrological delineation, because usually it's the south node that describes how you instinctually behave, what kind of karmic behavior patterns you bring in, and you are utilizing it whenever you are threatened. And that's the south node. And the north node describes what you need to learn, what you need to accomplish, what kind of energy pattern you need to adopt in this life. So it describes your chosen destiny patterns. And this is something that we usually do only in the second half of our life, or last third, or even last couple of years, because we really like to do what the South Node suggests. But whenever you have a T-square, so you have a celestial object that is squaring both nodes, we usually say that something at the bending. Then what happens is, because of the squares, because the squares are high impact aspects that push you towards accomplishment. Because of it's an everyday push, you usually start doing the North Node much earlier than average. So that's a karmic cage. And Pallas Athena is the wise girl, and Lilith is revolt against injustice. And if you look around, you see a lot of things that are very, very much not justful. And so there's this revolt everywhere. There's also a cardinal earth engine and a cardinal fire engine, and they turn into some sort of trapeze, which is a very, very tall and very narrow trapeze, really. So there's a cardinal earth engine with Pallas Athena, Lilith, North Node, and Trans Pluto. And cardinal Earth is about creating something on the Earth plane. And there's also a cardinal fire engine, Mars retrograde, North Node, and Pallas Athena Lilith. And fire is the element of transformation. So this particular cardinal engine is great for transforming anything. There's also dissolved opposition. And well, actually, there's also a finger of fate with trans Pluto at its apex, so and also a platform. So you have a number of configurations in this particular space-time moment. The most important is the karmic cage, because that really gives you the push to do what's right or what you have chosen to do in this life. And here are the transcendental celestial objects. Taurus Pluto has Electra, Abundancia, Amicus Aureus, and Altair. These are things that have been there for quite a while. Maybe Altair is the most important thing, and maybe Aureus is also interesting. Aureus is a TNO, actually a centaur, true centaur. And if you look at what's happening in the United States, that Biden, after saying a number of times that he won't pardon his son. He won't pardon his son. He actually pardoned him, not just in those two cases that he was incarcerated, or not actually not physically incarcerated, but judged. He pardoned for anything that occurred after 2014. Now, I want you to remember that what happened in 2014 in Ukraine, Maidan happened, and the officially elected government was ousted with the help of the U.S. State Department. Victoria Nuland put $5 billion into the project. She herself said it. So that's what happened. And well, actually, Aureus is a centaur who is half bear, half human, and he and his brother are tearing people apart. And Zeus wants to punish him, but can't, because he and his brother are the great grandsons of Ares, the war god. And so he gets they only get some mitigated punishment. So that's what Aureus is. And Altair is one of the shaman stars, Alpha Aquila, a star that is beautiful and bright and on the Milky Way, taking the shamans up on the high altar energy and reaching these celestial spheres. On Mars, you have Ascalaphus, who is the gardener of the underworld, who gives Persephone some pomegranate seeds. And this is why she can't get back to her mother. And actually, Demeter, goddess of agriculture, is very, very mad at him and punishes him. So if you do a good deed, you are going to be punished. That's what Ascalaphus usually symbolizes. And Altarf, which is Beta Cancer, and in Arabic, Altarf means the stair. So it is linked. This star is linked to insight, proper insight. That's what we usually need. And on the North Node, you have Aphrodite, which is the goddess of love, and Manvi, which is Tolkien's Silmarillion, the story in one of the protagonists, the king of the Valars, and he is a sky god. He is ruling the winds and the birds, and so he represents the energies of nature. And then on the South Node, you have Epimetheus, whose name means who knows after. And in karmic astrology, it describes the process when something happens and then you understand and realize what it was and you learn from it. So it's the learning process. And this is what we badly need at the moment, because the whole world is pushed into chaos and madness. And on trans Pluto, we have Agamemnon, one of the heroes, the leaders of the Trojan War. So a general, a leader. And trans Pluto, of course, is channeling and dimension jump. And on the Pallas Athena Lilith conjunction, you have Victory, Selene, who is the moon goddess, and Ixion, one of the first documented psychopaths, who also symbolizes how we are bound to the wheel of reincarnation. And it's funny because actually it symbolizes the Eastern concept of what comes around goes around. And I always say that karma is not so an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Sometimes we wish it were. But let me tell you that if it really were the case, you wouldn't, by now, you would not have one single bad person and not one, you would not see one single bad deed. So unfortunately, it's not that simple. Okay, so those are the transcendental objects, and the question remains: are we going to have chaos or deliverance from chaos? And there's this beautiful talent triangle as well, made up by the quintile series. The quintile, there are actually one quintile here, which I forgot to enumerate here, which is the Moon trans-Pluto quintile. Quintile is 72 degrees. You get 72 when you divide the circle by 5. And all the participants of this particular aspect family denote various talents and ingeniousness. The decile is professionalism. The tridecile is the 108 degree, is all kinds of talents which manifest in altered states of consciousness. And the biquintile usually describes talents that are there for the whole incarnation cycle or were accumulated throughout a whole incarnation cycle. And this talent, so they're actually, this is a rectangle, but it's made up by two talent triangles. One is made up a decile, a tridecile, and the biquintile. Trans-Pluto, the Sun, and Pluto. Pluto here is, of course, power and transformation. The Sun is the ego development, and trans-Pluto is dimension jump. Actually, you have Pluto and trans-Pluto, Hades and Persephone, again, husband and wife. So they make a pair. And then the whole thing, the whole configuration is really around the Sun-Moon opposition and kind of envelopes it. So the other triangle is two biquintiles and a quintile. So this is really an isosceles triangle, at the apex of which there's Pluto transformation. So that is a full moon energy at the moment. And as I said, the question is, what are we going to make out of this? Yes, chaos is escalating. This is what you see everywhere, really. Every day you get an escalation of chaos. But at the same time, sometimes out of chaos comes a new order, and the world needs a new order. And I'm just hoping, really hoping, that this is what's going to happen. Happy full moon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.